So, hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join the SLinT TechTalk session today. My name is Aminata Konde, and I am the moderator. Before we get started, this session is being recorded. By continuing to be in the meeting, you are consenting to be recorded. And just a little housekeeping before we start, please, if you have any questions during the presentation, please just raise your hand up and ask, because we're going to try to make this session a little bit interactive. So just raise your hand up and or type your questions in the chat window, and I'll bring them up for the presenter to respond. If you have a phone, please turn the ringer off to prevent distractions during the session. And at the end, we'll have like Q&A as well. If you want to ask a question or kind of like contribute to the conversation, just again, raise your hand up. So we'll call you in order. If you're not speaking, please stay muted and only unmute yourself when you need to speak. And this session is really on, it's about Alhaji's IT and cybersecurity career journey. So based on the nature of his job, he will not go into details about his job functions or employers. And now I will, and thank you, I will introduce Alhaji, who is the founder and owner of Prince Amira Fashion. And Alhaji enjoys giving actionable ideas and knowledge regarding technology, company management, and agriculture. However, if you explore more about him, you'll find out there's a whole lot more to him than we know. He has experience in various fields because he enjoys taking risks and then being helpful. For example, I recently contacted him to discuss some cybersecurity question that I had with somebody else, and he was busy changing the oil in his Mercedes-Benz truck. He's in a self-paced training during his other different times or period, teaching himself woodwork. So don't be surprised if you see Prince Amira kind of extend into carpentry designs.
Wow.
Because Alhaji is here to share his cybersecurity journey with us, I will not say much about the greatness of this brother and a friend. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Alhaji, time is yours.
All right. You're so kind, Aminata. Thank you. And the rest of the SLinT leadership team, I want to thank you for creating this platform. It is, great to be here with you all. And, for the audiences, I'm humbled, to have you be here, giving your time and tuning and listening to me share my life into the IT field and cybersecurity field, and the joy I'm getting out of whatever I'm doing. So how and when did it start? This is my emotional energy, timeline of not only my life, but my, career in cybersecurity and IT. It started in 2000 when I arrived into the United States. The first thing I was introduced to was a computer, and that was the year of like Y2K. Computer was a hot cake, and there are a few people in this meeting today that knows about those days, right? Some people started their career in the early 90s or late 90s, but mine started in 2000. Break fix computer during that time. I started as a computer science student. For about 2-3 years, then I felt like going down the direction as a computer science programmer, it's not something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I, pivot a little bit, from computer science to computer technology. So as a computer technology student, had a lot of, different opportunities in the computer world, right? You could be a database admin, you could be a sysadmin, network admin, a web developer. So, as a computer tech student, I, picked up, a lot of those knowledge when I was in college. And 2005, I graduated at Bowie State University as a computer tech student major. And a couple of months after graduation, then I had my first gig as a technician. There I was working for a company named Mantech. Because it was a temporary short time, I was taught how to replace CPUs, motherboard, hard drives. So we had a project where we had to replace some CPUs and motherboard for a government contract. And I spent 2 months there. So around 2006, that was when I had my first job in the office, right? From being a tech, moving from company to company just to fix their PCs to being in the office. And I was a desktop support specialist for Robot Half technology at that time. There I learned customer service, and of course, I continued, fixing computers, just working from a workstation point of view. But then also, that was where I started doing more server-related work. That was the year of Microsoft, Exchange, the earlier versions of Exchange, NC servers. So that was where I started learning all of that. And spent there, I think about 7 to 8 months, not too long. And I left. I went, and worked for Federal System Government Services, System Government Services. There, I was a config support specialist.
Alhaji, let me take you slightly back. So
Okay.
while you were at Robot Half, like what the company you work for, because I know Robot Half was like a professional services. So the company you work for, how large were they? Like how many people were you supporting? Were they like all local or were they international? And what kind of tools were you using to support them?
So at Robot Half technology, I was like hired as a temp to permanent, right? So temp for Family and Child Services. It was a nonprofit organization in DC. They had like local offices around that DC metropolitan area. So it was, really, like I said, they had like NC, and we were doing backups and tapes, right? And tapes. Remember back then when you had to back up your data in tapes? So we would, pick up the backup and, walk down the streets where they have a bank. And that was where we were, saving the tapes. Because, I mean, back then it was a small organization. They don't have the resources. And it was just 2 of us, right? My boss and myself. So I was, supporting the users, and he was more focused on ensuring that the servers, the systems, the applications that they're using were, up and functional.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Windows NT, huh?
Yeah, back then. So I went working for Pearl's System Government Services in 2006 as a config support specialist. There that was also supporting some government contracts, and spent a lot of time there. About 2 years, and there we had several different projects, right? I did a migration. That was where I started. My project lead. We did a migration, and this is a physical migration of the users because there was renovation, and I was leading that effort to ensure that those users were moved to a different location in a different city within the DMV area, in ensuring that those systems were their workstations were functional, the phone lines were working properly, and
Were they
then
using
after
like IP phones or something, and you have to kind of like configure um the phones when you're moving them from one location? Because like, did you guys use like VLAN for those phones? And
well, they were VLANs, obviously, because they were network phones. However, my responsibility as a workstation like support specialist was just ensuring that the users, because I was supporting the end users, right? So the users were able to connect, their phone lines were working properly, and then move them back to their previous location after the renovation. And there were a lot of lessons learned during that process as a project lead. There were a lot of things that I learned from one, being a leader
right.
during that process, and then also taking up like come and pick up a responsibility like that, raise my hands up to take the lead.
Right.
um, so in 2006, I decided that I wanted to get like do my master's. Right, I had about a year in between doing my master's. Then I have an idea of what I wanted to do in my master's, and which was the security. That was when I started leaning towards the security career. And my master's in information assurance. And in between 2006 to 2008, I got hired at University of Maryland, College Park. I was working at the health center. I got hired as a sysadmin. And now that was another, growth, but challenging, opportunity and position that I grabbed, right? And there were a lot of work to be done. A lot of systems, applications, email servers that I learned. And here, because it's an educational sector, they don't have too much, but like financial resources, like budget to spend and invest into uh, someone raised their hand, so I got
Yes,
distracted.
yeah, Mohammed, don't worry about that. I'm looking at that. So Mohammed has his hand raised up.
Okay.
Mohammed, you can unmute yourself and
No, I just wanted to say that I don't want him to forget the critical detail. He's the one who gave me my first touch in the technology, and he hired me as an intern during that time at the University of Maryland.
You're absolutely correct.
2008.
When
Yes.
I graduated from high school in 20, I think it was 2013.
Oh, okay. It's
No,
not in
no, it wasn't
2013.
2013. Was it 2012?
12, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, because it was before
Oh,
that. Because you were in high school. Well, he wasn't the only one actually. There were other. There's another Sierra Leonean that did internship with me while I was working at University of Maryland.
uh,
So and they're all doing great. Um, you know.
so
So
Mohammed, that's it.
Yes, that's it. I just didn't want him to forget that.
so then during that time I learned a lot of open source tools, and it was during that time actually I also realized that, Tamba Lamin was a web developer, right? So I was
Oh,
doing
wow.
I was actually doing a lot of web development during that time as well. And networking, I learned a lot in between, 2006 to 2013, from a technical, point of view, from a security standpoint, at University of Maryland, standard policies, procedures, a lot of security awareness, training that I was, doing for the users. And then in 2008, I got married.
Okay, so before we get to the married part, which is the sweet part, but what are some of the open source tools that you used while you were at UMGC? Well, UMBC at the time.
UMCP, right?
UMCP.
So yeah, so our email server was when I went there, they had major issues with their email. Right. So they were
what were
running
they
out
using
of.
at the time? I know you don't want to get into detail, just the
No,
application.
there I can get into details.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about now.
Okay. So
Yeah,
what
I
are
can
the
get into
applications
details.
they were using and what did you move to? Or how,
So
like what are the tools you used to resolve that issue that they were having? Or some
yeah,
of those issues?
so the email that they were using a Unix based email system, just a regular open BDS program for email. So I migrate that email to Zimbra.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Now
yeah,
I know where you get your
my
Zimbra idea
Zimbra
from.
knowledge. I did a lot of work with there. I learned a lot about MX records, and I did a primary email server, a backup email server, because back then they didn't have those options, right? They only have like one server. So if anything goes down, they don't, like, pretty much, like, they'll have to wait until everything comes back up.
Okay, so let's just be clear. Can you just like this is UMCP, so it's not like the entire
No, it's a health
university.
center.
This is like a health
It's the health center, right? Because
center.
back then, they have, each
Just
and
a
every
portion.
division have their own IT team.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see.
All right. So 2008, got married. We welcome our first daughter number one, Zamira. And it was during that time I, get into loving photography, right? I made it a hobby during that time. And I was doing it, and I had a colleague of mine that we went to school that was doing it as well. So he pretty much encouraged me and just guide me through the path. I honed it. Right, it was an opportunity to have as a side gig, because when I started, I was trying to make ends meet new college students. University don't pay much. Other jobs that I've had, they didn't pay much. So I was growing. So I needed that, made it a hobby, and it became a house name within our community and the DMV area as well. So it was Prince Amir Photography. So 2009, I graduated my first master's in information assurance at University of Maryland Global Campus, which was formerly known as University of Maryland University College, UMUC. And then in 2009, I was promoted as a IT security coordinator.
Quick question. So why information assurance if you already knew you were going into cybersecurity? I know it's the same path, but why specifically information assurance, or wasn't there anything that directly related to like cybersecurity investigations or cybersecurity something, but why just information assurance?
Well, because back then, University of Maryland Global Campus, did not. I don't believe they had a cybersecurity degree, to be specific.
Okay.
Now they do.
Right.
But back
Okay.
then, it was information assurance.
I see.
Yeah. So University of Maryland, they realized that I've, graduated, in my master's in information assurance. Because in order for them to get me to that position, I have to provide, some proof that, I'm entitled to that promotion, right? So, yeah, but prior to that, I was already doing security related work for them. So became IT security coordinator. And in 2011, around 2009, after graduating with my master's, and University of Maryland start, advertising a dual degree program.
And boy, you're brave.
That was where I stack up my student loan debt. So there I had my MBA in 2011 at UMGC. And 2012, daughter number 2, welcome her.
All right, so I'm going to take you back. Sorry. Okay. As an IT security coordinator, what are some of the responsibilities, or I still want to say, I don't want to get too much into your functions, but what are some of the tools, the security tools that you use, or some of the tasks that you had to do that related to those tools, and how did those tools helped you to grow as a cybersecurity professional now?
Okay, cool. So there, at University of Maryland, that was where I actually get into learning about, well, not learning, but actually working on network devices like your firewall, like Cisco ASA, set up like site-to-site VPN, because we had other offices that we had to connect to that was outside of campus. And remote to site VPN, that was where I had the knowledge of using Nessus back then. And there were other tools for file integrity monitoring, just to make sure that there are no PIIs, no social security numbers on users' computers, right? So we use a tool called Stealth. There were varieties of other open source tools like Security Onion, Snort. That was where I learned all of those. And this was self-taught actually during that time. And then daughter number 2, right? Is it okay for me to move forward now?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so daughter number 2, Naima, we welcome her. And in 2013, I left University of Maryland. That was almost 6 years with them. And I left University of Maryland, decided to move on, another career growth to Mission Square, which was formerly known as UMUC. Now, during that time when I moved to Mission Square, I received a call from Tamba Lamin because Tamba knew that I was into web development. So he was looking for, someone. And I was like, bro, nah, man, I've left you. I'm more focused on security, So,
wow.
So in between University of Maryland, and then graduating with my MBA, there I knew that my career was straight up going to be into security. So I decided to leave everything else and then just focus on security. So then
so what was your a day in a life like for you as a security config engineer?
So a day in a life for me, well, when I got hired, that was when, my manager, they had a strategic program to ensure that, because they were expanding, right? And they to ensure that all of the systems that they have in place, were secure, from their desktop to servers, network devices. So I came there and then helped them through their security configuration program, management, where we'll baseline all systems in that environment. And I led, that particular, function.
It sounds like a SecOp thing, like, security operations also, things that
Well,
you were doing.
well, there are security operations there as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
because it was also a small company, but they had
Okay.
like a huge budget, right? So it was a small company, but they had a huge budget. So they were, investing into, tools, enterprise tools. So
Okay.
remember, before I was, creating, setting up these open source free tools.
Right.
But now I'm in, an environment that was ready to invest just to keep their data secure. So, tools that were used there, Palo Alto, CyberArk, Tripwire for file integrity monitoring, and also Baseline, Rapid7. Uh, and actually, I migrated from Rapid7 to Tenable,
Oh.
Nessus. I was involved in that. I led that entire migration process. So there spent, well, while I was there, I picked up another interest, got into fashion. That's where you find the Prince Zamira fashion in 2015, sorry. And then daughter number 3, we welcome her, Malia. And 2018, I co-founded, Easy Farming.
Man, you're a jack of all trades.
No, I'm not. Well, I'm trying not to be anymore. you know. And then 2019, I decided to move on from Mission Square to Accenture. I was like, hey, Tamba, you were looking for me. You were looking for me around 2013, but now 2019, I'm in your space. What's going on, reach out, chat with him, try to get an idea of the environment, learn, one or two things from, his experience, working at Accenture. And 2021, I decided to add to my already load of work with Accenture. I decided to teach cybersecurity instructor for Benjamin Franklin Institute in Massachusetts. So
Oh, wow.
that's my journey. That's my life.
So as an instructor, what courses are you teaching in cybersecurity?
So they have, of course, start off with computer fundamentals, go to packet analysis from network point of view, and also malware investigation, some security monitoring, vulnerability management, and there are a few more actually.
Wow.
So they just added cloud security into their curriculum.
That's excellent. That kind of expand your idea even more from a professional to an instructor viewing students' work. So it goes back and to your learning days.
Yeah, yeah, and it helps, right? It
Yeah,
keeps you refreshed.
right. That's good. Thank you, Alhaji. This is excellent. Now I'm just going to turn
Hey,
it over
thank you for
to,
having me.
yeah, I'm going to turn it over to the audience. You can chime in, add your own experiences, and ask questions and type your questions. We're trying to keep this so at least we can all go home at 1 hour exact. Hopefully, SLinT will set the record today. So please chime in. I know there are a lot of tech people here. Don't make me start calling names. I see you.
I believe everyone just wants to listen.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, Prince Amir, this is a long journey, though. It is really, really a long journey with some great experience. You've been the mission, being a farmer, being a photographer, being a fashionist. Oh, bro, this is much. But actually, like, I have a question though.
All right.
Oh, okay. Go
Like
ahead.
a question that I have is like but based upon but the fact that you've been into the security world for quite a long time.
Uh-huh.
In today's world, does it fit that someone needs to grab a degree in cybersecurity or just go into the boot camp, get experience and then move on, then go and spend 20, 30, $40,000 in getting a cybersecurity degree, or let's say a degree in IT, then just going to boot camp that you were going to pay $3,000 or within the range of $3,000 to $5,000. Does it worth both sides? That is what I want to know.
So this is the thing, right? Things have changed a lot. And back then, part of the reason why we went into doing our master's degree in information assurance was because most companies, they were not hiring folks without specific degrees. Now it's totally different. There are a lot of needs for cybersecurity professionals, and it's advisable for you, right, to know the basics at least before you get into the cybersecurity world. However, if you believe that you can work hard, right, 2 or 3 or 4 times harder than you were in your other career path, then definitely some boot camps are worth it. However, you don't have to rush too much with you're like enjoying that gratification. You want to understand the basics, the foundation, the details, and you have to study more, learn more, read more, and practice more. I'll say there are several different paths that you can attempt or go through within cybersecurity. If you're a hands-on person, you can lean towards the technical path of cybersecurity. If you're not too hands-on, there are other paths that you can lean towards, which are more policy standards like governance, risk, and compliance, the GRC path. But I mean, overall, you have to have some basic knowledge.
Yeah. So like you would be talking about basic knowledge. Can you just please let's say highlight some of it just for you, so like we can get something but to go back home with.
Yeah, sure. So I'll say, at least computer fundamentals, right? Understand what computer really is, how this computer was built, right? The basic, understand what networking is. Understand the, applications, the difference between operating systems and just your basic, Word applications like Microsoft Office related applications. Understand what wireless is, right? Your Wi-Fi. I mean, for basic, I'll say if you have wireless network in your home where you have printers, you have computers, try to understand that. That will help you.
Okay, well, got you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Alimami. We have, by the way, I just called him Alimami because that's what he wrote. He has many names. Yeah. We have Saidu, Ernest, on the line. So, Ernest, go ahead.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Long time.
Indeed.
I thought I was gonna miss this session, but I made it through. Right? You wanna say hi? Hi. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah. So it's always great to learn and also see how my people are doing. And thanks for the presentation, Alhaji. But I'm more interested in your timeline, your emotional energy. That's a very interesting plot. So I was wondering, how did you? Are these just things you plotted just to give some higher level, description of your track, or did you kind of plot this with some kind of data that generates this graph? How did you manage to quantify which of these years were more like a positive energy flow and negative, or it's just a kind of representation? Can you just share your thoughts?
So there are a lot of positives, and then of course there are a lot of negatives, right? But my goal here was to ensure that, I mean, though I have gotten to where I'm at, there were a lot of high tension moments, like picking up tasks that were truly above my knowledge. Those were challenging, right? And you need those challenging moments for you to grow in any sphere of your life. So like picking up the University of Maryland one, that was really a challenging moment, because there were other folks that were working there, but however, we like, it was just two of us, right? And when we go back, I was the youngest, and all of the tasks were being thrown at me, and I was also responsible to learn these new technologies, because the person that I was working with did not have the time to learn anything new. So that was a challenging moment, an emotional moment. And then of course, getting married, that was new to me. Our first daughter, right? So I was a father at that moment. There was joy in knowing that you're going to be a father, but then also it comes with its own challenging moment, right? So I was balancing work and family, right? So and then the master's program as well. It was a master's program, but evening classes after work, I have to attend class. I had no option. I have to do it, right? I have to be there. I have to be present. So that's why, I consider this as an emotional energy. It has its positive moments. It has its challenging moments, and then in between there were some negatives, right? got into businesses, did not work out well, step back and, try to think about another business. So, that's why I reference it as emotional energy.
Good. Thank you. Thank you both. We have one from Ali. He said, inspiring journey, Alhaji. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? 5 to 10 years, I mean.
Wow, that's a good question, Ali.
With the agriculture, photography, and cyber, I want to hear that too.
No. All right. So 5 to 10 years. To be honest, I'll still be working in the cybersecurity world. Definitely. I am interested in agriculture, and I have, invested in agriculture, in which I do believe, I'll continue to do. So I see, myself, really doing a lot in agriculture. And then I do believe that, PZ will be at a different scale by then. Prince Zamira will be at a different scale by then, based on, the way I'm seeing things, and the creativity aspects of, how I'm doing things, and trying to delay my gratification, because I don't want to be sidetracked, in celebrating a lot, and forget that, I have not gotten to where I want to be, right? So I've not, get to my goals yet, but those are the three things I see myself focusing on more, and of course, family.
Awesome. All right, thank you. So Sa said, along the lines of Alimami's question, let's say a random Sierra Leonean is interested in getting into the cyber field. What would you recommend and why? Red team, blue team, web security, CM, focused network security, application security?
Well, all right, Sa, thank you for your question. That's a good question, right? It depends. Again, you remember, I did mention the basics, right? And then also, that person, dedicating their time to, really learn. You can be in either or. You can be defensive security, or you can be like attack, like a pen tester. There's joy in doing any of those. It's about, the willingness for you to learn it, and go through, a lot of hoops, challenges, for you to get to where you want to be. I've heard a lot of people that want to get into cybersecurity, but forget that they have to, put in the work. I learn, things every day myself, even at this stage in my life. I have servers, I create projects on my own, right? So you want to have that mentality, for you to really, be in any of those fields, especially the hands-on ones. So I would say, if you're a Sierra Leonean new and you want to get into cybersecurity, first you have to know if you're a hands-on person, and you can go through a lot of challenges, adversity, for you to get what you want, and learn it. I mean, even if it's difficult, then definitely you can get into the technical world, the hands-on world, in cybersecurity. However, if you believe that you're scared of getting, through that, but you still want to get into cybersecurity, I would say start off with just help desk support, right? You can become a customer support tech, learning how to communicate with customers, try to get the jargons and try to understand, the little things like resetting passwords, and then you gradually move into the field.
And if I can chime in, I want to use myself as an example. Like you said, you have to know yourself, right? What you're passionate about, what sometimes I don't want to say comfortable, because sometimes you find the easy things to be comfortable, but that's not really your passion. But something I want to also say part of your DNA. I'll give you an example. After I graduated with my bachelor's, a friend who knew me very, very well and I were on the phone and I was going through a master's programs. And I was like, oh, maybe I can go do this. So I was reading it. And then I got to one particular one. And he said, wait. Read that again. That was the digital forensics and cyber investigations.
Mm-hmm.
This is somebody I was dating actually. And I had investigated him on a personal level, asking all these interrogative questions, right?
Yeah.
He goes like, I swear to God, that's what you should have, because you'll be really good at it.
Investigating to the detail.
Right. Yeah, because he kind of like knew me in a way where he was like, he said, you're nosy. And I'm a Gemini. I'll blame it on being a Gemini. That people think I'm nosy, but I don't think it's nosy, but it's just like having all the facts before you kind of like jump into conclusion. So I think with all of that feature, after I read the description, I was like, yeah, he's right. This is really something that I need to do. So that's how I got into digital forensics, into my own cybersecurity journey. So I think that part of that DNA in you can tell you what you can be really good at, that you'll really enjoy, because at the end of the day, you really want to do something that you'll enjoy doing, and then you become a master of that thing. Because if you don't enjoy it, then you're not going to grow.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm just reading Tambalamin's message in the chat. Yes, okay. I know Tambalamin was more of a Joomla guy. I remember. Yes, Tamba, I do remember.
So before you go to Tamba, there's one from Evelyn. So I don't want to skip. So before you go to Tamba, so Evelyn is saying some are concerned that with the advent of AI, there will not be as many openings for cybersecurity jobs. What do you see the job prospect for aspiring cybersecurity professionals in the next 5 to 10 years?
Oh man, Mr. Evelyn, there are, I think about 750,000 jobs or so out there in cybersecurity, not filled. And, AI is, actually a thing, and there are security tools that, uses AI, right? Where you like users' behavior, those, telemetry, they capture that and being able to, see what is going on, on organizations or companies, network and send alerts. The only problem here is, in most cases, the AI technology at this present moment, are not doing the follow-up, right? You have people that will be, doing those follow-ups, and there'll be people that also will be responsible to, validate or confirm if those alerts or notifications are false positives. So the job market for cybersecurity, I do believe will still be there. The AI will probably reduce some of the entry level job, because now you have like security orchestration, automation and response, and which in most cases the entry level positions will handle those kind of things. The AI will, the security orchestration will handle those entry level response things. And the major events or alerts that are taking place will be done with by the tier 2, tier 3 support. So AI will help, but it's not going to deplete the cybersecurity jobs as anyone would expect it to be. If any, I would say probably 2 or 3%, not that much.
And also, would you say that AI is in the still in the development phase technically? Because I've been seeing a lot of, especially like in the healthcare sector, I've been seeing a lot of kind of like behavioral issues that they're reporting, and even issues related to cybersecurity and patient information type thing. So will you say it's still in the development phase or still in the perfection phase? I don't know.
Well, I mean, there are, folks developing, and then, there are others going through a learning phase. So it's still, it's coming up.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. And now Tambalamin's message. So thank you, Alhaji, for sharing. I am inspired by your journey, especially the choices you had to make in between. Don't forget that you contributed to my career too. Wow. I was in open source and web dev and using other tools until you mentioned Drupal. The Drupal community helped shape my career. I continue working in the open source space because of my experience with Drupal and its community. I hope we can all learn from each other and listen to each other. The small little drops we make can help shape many people. Thanks, and continue to share your story. I have so much to say about that, just, among
thank you, Tamba.
the few people I interact with right now. So, yeah.
Just to add a voice to that, Alhaji, thank you. Keep it up. I think a lot of kids would learn from someone like you. I hope we're able to share these stories with larger audiences within our community, because it takes a lot. It's not a straight path. Seeing these paths going up and down should help everyone know that it's not a straight path. At the end, you will see like, okay, this is shiny. Everything is looking good, but behind the hood, a lot of things happen in the process, and it's similar to most of us. So thank you very much, Darren.
Exactly.
I agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree. I mean, Ali know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, Evelyn, right? So a lot of people know that, this journey is not straight.
That is true. And to add to that also, those little drops, they are really huge to some of us, because meeting some of you, like you yourself, Alhaji, Tamba, Ali, even Ernest, have made like an impact in my career, just by interacting, sharing your ideas, sharing your experiences, making recommendations, has helped me grow a lot from the time I met SLinT to now. I mean, I joined SLinT to now. And well, I met you before SLinT, so, but others I met through SLinT, and you and Ali. But it's really good. I really do appreciate the time that you take into sharing all of the stories. But I have Almami, Louis, Sire, Conte, hands up. So Sire, go ahead.
I think they forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like just a quick question about some path in with the cybersecurity field that let's say specifically to the financial industry, because we know that we have now fintech, which is like another aspect of the financial industry being connected towards with the tech field. So like I wanted to know what are the roles or the job titles that are related to with the financial industry in terms of the cybersecurity. So I want to know what are the connection, the point at which these two fields come together.
Almami, thank you. Siri, thank you.
All of it.
So you see, in 2013, Mission Square, that's a financial institution that I was working in 2013. The one that says security config engineer. That right there, that was a financial institution. Cybersecurity, to be honest, based on, if it's on an enterprise level, or, a small scale level, depending on the type of assets that you're trying to protect. In this case, protecting financial assets, right? Money sitting somewhere, and that money needs to be protected so that there's no fraud, there's no scam. But the financial institution has benefits a lot from threat modeling, right? Like being able to detect or determine what is going on with specific financial institution for fraud, somewhere in the black market, but in most cases, majority of the tools that are being used in other areas that are security related are being used in this industry as well. But being able to monitor their cloud applications using the likes of CASB, ensuring that you're preventing access from geolocation that is outside of specific location where your customers reside. So there's a lot, but I mean, all of these security tools are used in other industries as well.
Okay, boss. Thank you very much. But the last one is having gone through your life journey, it is so exciting that
it's exciting.
Yes. like the weekend to sit back and say, hey, Alhaji, you need to go down 6 feet with all this experience. So how best can you see that you can mentor some of the young ones to, let's say, grow in terms of the professional tools, with the professional workforce?
Can I interrupt you a little bit?
Yeah.
Can we do one question, and so we give other people a chance to ask, and then we can come back and ask other questions instead of doing multiple series?
They look for bulletproof.
I know.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah, so you can raise your hand back up, and then that way the next person can go. So Ernest has his hand up. I think he has another question for you.
Yes, Mr. Ernest.
Yeah, I believe we want to sleep here to discuss. It's always interesting, talking about tech, security, or all those kind of things, and how you can nurture and help those who want to achieve their career. But the question is the willingness and what do you want to achieve in the upcoming years. My question is, given that, in my opinion, there are a lot of use cases for cybersecurity, especially in Africa or developing countries.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I believe the problem is a lack of awareness to cybersecurity, because most of the people that I speak with in terms of cybersecurity are those in the diaspora, and they have some sense of understanding. And it's very hard to kind of tell someone in Syria and say that, oh, you have some basic knowledge about cybersecurity, but how can you kind of build a passion out of it to make it a career? That's what they struggle with. So my question is that to you who has been in this field for quite a while and from an African origin, what are you doing to kind of increase the awareness of cybersecurity, especially in Australia or Africa? And how do you try to help students to kind of, do some of this, take awareness based on passion, not just because of I want to do it and make money out of it. Because if that's your end goal, to be honest, it's going to be frustrating because you're not going to have a paycheck that will sustain you. That's just one question. I'll keep the rest for later.
All right, no problem.
So we're not going to make
and that's
it
a
out
good
of here in 1
question,
hour, do we?
right? Yeah, that's a good question. So, sincerely and honestly, I have not been, focusing in ensuring that I share that knowledge, to folks in Africa, especially Sierra Leone. I'll applaud the folks that I know I have seen, greatly involved in, contributing towards, IT, cybersecurity in Sierra Leone, like Ali Bangura. I'm not sure if he dropped off, Tamba, right, and few others. And to be honest, I'm jealous of you all. However, I know, that I will come on board, soon. I see Sally raising his hands. I'll come on board soon. I'll try to, relieve some, other, things that I have on my plate and come on board. And that's why, I start off with this journey, because there's more to come, and I want to contribute, just like the others that are doing now, and to help. But also, in order for cybersecurity to be, a buzzword within, specifically Sierra Leone, because I know this question is mostly for Sierra Leone, because there are other, African countries that are, already ahead, like Nigeria, is to, it has to, anything that, needs awareness in Sierra Leone has to start off from, whether it's from the schools or the institutions. The institutions, I mean, the offices that are already there. You're right. So people have to see the need for them to get, into that path. I am very confident that cybersecurity is going to be something big in Sierra Leone, considering, the new cyber, crime law that they have. But not only that, Sierra Leone will get to a point where it will become advanced to a point where, institutions will have to ensure that their, systems are secured. And they have to follow certain regulations, right? So the government has to, help, in that area as well. And then it all boils down to, what critical systems or assets do they have that needs to be protected? Are they moving all manual paper data, records, electronically, so that, they don't have to worry about, dust on those papers, storage, etc. But then also have to keep that system secure. There's a backup, and know that no one is going to delete. So the institution have a role to play as well. So there's a lot of conversation, when it comes to cybersecurity, and I know it's just a matter of time. And I know I'm going to be part of that awareness, Mr. Saidu.
Thank you.
Yeah, to add to that, I think we need to do more in the community, and especially an organization like SLinT. I recently moderated a totally different program for hackathon, and one question I was not even expecting. I'm a moderator. I'm like, okay, what question would you have for me? But this girl maybe had some information about me because I did not introduce myself at all. And or maybe look me up, I don't know. But her question was, you're in cybersecurity and you're a woman and I'm a woman and trying to start a tech company to repair computers. How do I incorporate cybersecurity into my program or into my business? You know, so that was like, wow, you know, if they're thinking down that line, the point I'm trying to make, maybe we need to talk more. Maybe we need to share more. Maybe we need to share our own experiences, our life stories with the people. Just give them that basic knowledge that this exists, you know, so that way they can start thinking about it in things that they're doing. So we need to do more as individuals and as groups, as tech, you know, organization like SLinT. We need to do more.
Agreed. Remember, all most people know about IT in Sierra Leone is that guy where they can't fix my computer, right? That's
exactly.
It. When the computer breaks, they call you. That's all they know about IT. And if you look within the community, who are the successful people you see, or who are the people that you see as an example of success? It's the doctors, it's the lawyers, it's the engineers, it's the politicians, right? You hardly ever see anyone that says, oh, that guy is an IT guru and he's so successful. I don't know if we actually even have any example of anyone you can point to in country, not in Freetown, and not even going to provinces, right? And kids look up to those things, believe it or not.
They do.
They look up to that. Well, in my experience, most of the people that have reached out to me talking about computers are typically students who drop out of Beke or drop out of WAS, and their parents are like, go do some computer stuff. Right? Not the successful ones. Because the ones who are making the exams are trying to go up to Frobe College or by PAM or other places to do the traditional, to take the traditional majors that we know, right? The few who end up in engineering, who are smart enough, end up doing computer science or doing something related to computers. And most of the people we know today back home that are doing computer related stuff are those students who end up doing engineering and branch off at some point into computers, or some who were actually those Beckett dropout and WAS dropouts, but did it on their own online. There is a whole bunch of them now, but they still consider them dropout. You didn't even pass WAS.
Yeah.
So how do we inspire people like that? How do we inspire them from like growing up at that primary level? Like, this is also a career. You can even do better here than a lawyer. You can do better here than a doctor. There is an opportunity for you to do better here than an engineer. It's the same. It's just like every other. In fact, it's the most modern and it's the most promising out of all the others. How do we inspire that? I think that's the big challenge we all have.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I will be.
I agree with you, Tamba.
I will be writing a paper about careers in cybersecurity. So I'm going to be tapping into all of you to kind of like contribute. So it will be like something we all co-authored, because that idea just came on. So that I think that would be something contributing from different perspective. I think would be a great, you know, something to start sharing as a group. But anyway, so now I have Salu and Sa. I don't know. I was not paying attention. I don't know which one of them raised their hands first.
Salu can go first since I already asked.
Oh, okay. So Salu, thank you, sir.
Yes. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Sorry to come in late. But I thought I had to, at least if it's only for a few minutes, because cybersecurity obviously is most of us here presently. It means a lot to me, and we know the potential that Sierra Leone has in terms of the development of our youth. I've been back and forth from Sierra Leone several times over the last 20 years. And I've lectured at IPAM. I've been to the schools. And I can relate to almost everything I've heard in the last 10, 15 minutes. More so to do with, especially how do we start to change that mindset. I have held various forums, seminars, etc. And every single time we bring in young people together, we ask them, what thing you want be? 99% of them, they go for 5 careers. Unasabi the one they will always go for. So because they've not been exposed to these technologies, they don't know about them. And to them, even the idea of a computer, when I lectured at IPAM, it was shocking that, just as has been pointed out by, I think the last, it was Saidu, I had students coming in, undergraduate, first year undergraduate, they've never touched a computer. They only took up IT because they've got the requirements, but couldn't fulfill the requirements for their law or medicine, etc. I say, oh, lab with computer. And they come in and you're thinking, you're asking, so yes, why do you want to do it? Well, I want for life, get me degree. So it's like, it's never been, and even when you go to the schools, there's been a program even about 2 years ago, about a year or 2 years ago, to equip 500 schools with internet connectivity. My first question is, who are those in those schools that will teach those kids how to use those computers? So it failed. It failed completely. So where we are now, I believe that we can actually work on this. The idea of the book army is great. The idea also of getting, sorry, just I need to discuss this stuff. The idea of also continuing on this is great. We have a platform at ISOC where we're engaging with the schools to talk to the kids, to get them to start looking at IT. We have the Girls in ICT Day, where we bring together hundreds of girls, and that happens every year. So going forward, I'd want us to engage a lot more through SLinT to see how we can go to the schools, even at primary level, and start saying to them, hey, when I hold on, this one, I want to be lawyer, I want to be doctor, I want to be this, there's something else. And I think we need to showcase the people who are succeeding in this industry. We need to showcase that, because it's when we showcase that we start going above the lawyers and the doctors that they know of. So I think to cut it short, because I get where you see me be all on the go, so I don't go thief per army in paper then. I get exam Monday. So that's
Mr. Mansari, I believe the IT folks, or cybersecurity folks, they are a little bit different from, the lawyers and the doctors, right? They don't like to show off, the salon mentality, right? Probably if the IT and cybersecurity folks begin to show off, the success, what's in that they get out of what's that they do, probably something they pick it that will be easy. Because you remember back then, right? People were thinking about, oh, I want to be a doctor. Doctor make a lot of money. Yes. Right? Within the Sierra Leone mentality, they link things to money.
Of course.
That drives them, to being either a doctor, a lawyer. Now, a lot of students want to be a lawyer because what? Lawyers, they make money out of what?
Oh, don't forget accounting. I think we produce more accountants than anything else. All right.
Well, as I pointed out, I am also a movie buff, and one of my great lines I liked in Silence of the Lambs was when the big man said, "We covet what we see." And if you look around, that is exactly what was going on. We were seeing the big names around the country were Dr. This, Dr. Dawandi, lawyer this, lawyer Dawandi. So we need to actually showcase a lot more of the successes. There was a lecture I gave once where I just went into my LinkedIn and I said, okay, I can't show now just a few Sierra Leoneans where I go school with. We hold top positions them, now big organizations them. na UK, US, and I went there. Even the more I delved in, looking at my links, and I was like, oh, I'm not being able to see this myself there. And we have people in so many top positions. But I've been reaching out to them to say, gentlemen, I will need for some of una puluna nado. If I get for puluna nado, that different. We are puluna nado. Let people know say you are heading Capgemini in the UK. You the Deloitte. You understand? Yeah. You the BT. Where I am right now, I've got a bloke next door at IBM here, who is one of the senior guys here. I say, you na $1 million job you do so now. You work IBM at this level. If them picking them need, they're not need for no salary. But the fact that I can tell them that you're at VP level, you understand? Now this place, it will excite them. So we need to do that. So just to close up on what I wanted to make my input on was one, let's build on this. We can get a lot more people to be engaged in this because the data issue is still big in Sierra Leone. So we can get a lot more people involved if we can hold a more open seminar or someone. I can work with those in Freetown for us to bring together the kids from the schools. Mm-hmm. I think if we tap in at just when they go into secondary school at that Beke level, I think we will make a lot of inroads by bringing them through so that in the next few years, they'll be thinking, oh, that woman be say, na so and so I need for that become an IT guru. That man, they work here, that man, they make this amount of money. Because I told even some of my students, I said, gentlemen, I said, you work towards some of these certifications. I said, just take a look, go and just Google, waiting it means forget a CISSP in America. And check waiting. As soon as you get them, you get people who go for run by you. Then they throw money by you. You understand? So we need to excite them to get them in there. So again, I want us to please follow up on this. I want to engage with my ISOP team and SLinT so that we pick up on this and set up dates in the year or have something. Let's get a plan for next year because this year not already done. Let's get a plan for next year, how we can leverage on waiting we do so now for make bigger inroads. They are the big one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
That's
so I mean at the word and you get for first week.
I think that's by one call. And where they come next.
I don't know if Sai is coming with the same context of what has been discussed, but I just want to respond to if you can give me 2 minutes.
Sa?
Yeah, no, go ahead, take it, man.
So thank you, and thank you, Mr. Was it Mansari?
Kargbo.
No, Mr. Mansari.
Salu.
Masai. Yeah, so one thing I want to say here is that I don't personally believe it's a problem to pursue doctoral lawyers, all those kind of things. It's good. We need more of those people in Africa. But the thing is, we need people who are tech-minded, who can take their lawyer or their medical, whatever, into the next level by enhancing it with tech. That's the first thing, because I believe students who are competent enough, because after you study, if you don't have connection, you'll not get a job. But if you can use your knowledge, partner with people in tech, and then move your firm to something else, you can have like a remote GP or whatever. Those things are all things to tap into. So you can tell them about the importance of going all in tech, but you can also encourage them to continue what they're doing, but just have the tech mindset. That's all I want to say, not to discourage them.
No, that is true.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah, that is true.
Because even in the US now, you have a lot of people that are moving from, different background, tapping into the tech world or into the cybersecurity world. It's happening.
Yeah. All right, we have Sa.
Hey guys, really good inputs. I had two sort of questions, but it's going to be a question, and I just want to respond quickly to what Salu had mentioned. So we are, as a board, SLinT is open to folks who are looking to kind of steer the ship towards a good direction. We have myself, Ami, Evelyn, Ali, and Tamba, and Ami, and Abdullah. We've done our best in terms of like trying to steer the ship as we could over the last 2, close to 3 years now. But I think it's time for us to kind of turn it over to some more people who have that fire in their belly, who don't have, sort of the burnout that it takes to, steer this kind of group. So that's something that I'm really hoping that members from this or, participants from this conversation can, could look into. So we are going to have some open positions there for individuals interested, because that's something that, we've thought about for years now. It's in our bylaws, and it's basically part of our mission in terms of what we're trying to achieve. So if you're interested, please do consider becoming, a member of the board and kind of driving this ship towards where it needs to be. So that's, that's something I feel like I had to say, because, the point that you brought up, Salu, and then also Alhaji, from what you've been saying in terms of wanting to, be more devoted to the mission and, giving back in Sierra Leone. That this is it. It's right here for us. We just got to be able to tap into it. So just wanted to throw that in there. Question wise for you, Alhaji, bro, I think we we started at, in terms of the cyberspace, covering like appliances and, different OSs and monitoring instances, right? So it's shifting a bit now, from 5-6 years ago, we're not container based. We weren't looking at applications that were serverless, but now you have to monitor like K8s, Kafkas, things like that, OpenShift. We have to monitor more so things that are not, traditional, just, instances. So what do you see in terms of like the challenges and monitoring and, securing applications, which are like, auto scaling groups, things that are just spinning up, spinning down that can be infected. And then before you know, you can investigate those things. Like, how are you addressing some of these things in your experience and in your day-to-day? Because I know I definitely have a lot of challenges. I was trying to address some of those things as well. So just trying to piggyback off of like what you what you have to do, man. So that's it.
Sir, you just asked me a question on a project that I'm working on. I just started working on that project actually, where I'm leading a team. I'm learning from this as well, leading a team to monitor cloud workloads, right? Just like you mentioned. But there are tools out there. Like Palo Alto have, their Prisma tool that, do monitor, workloads in the cloud, like in AWS, and then, usage of cloud application security brokers, having that, zero trust architecture mindset where you have to, verify, having a single sign-on, in that environment, because again, it's not just like workloads in the cloud, but also you have, as you mentioned, SaaS applications, right, in the cloud. So all of those, you want to know where your data is going and how your data is being handled in the cloud. But as I continue, walking through this, hoping that the project goes on